Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. How you doing? If you're new to the channel and you could subscribe, that'd be great. Trying to build the channel up. Could like the video, share the video. All support is always, without question, appreciated. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're not new to the channel, welcome back. Okay. So, how many times over the last year to 18 months alone have we seen Mexican fighters who very few of us knew much about come over here and upset the apple cart? I won't rehash the ones that have been over here because you'll be well aware of them, but adding to the list, we have another candidate by the name of Luiz Alberto Lopez, who is 24 wins, 2 defeats, no draws. This is a guy who I was unfamiliar with until tonight when I saw him knock out ISAAC LOWE in an IBF featherweight eliminator in 7 rounds. And this kid was as cavalier and as Mexican and as fearless as you expect these, Mexican fighters to be. There must be some sort of laboratory in Mexico where they make these little tough little sods. Lowe going in, I think, was an underdog, and although I knew nothing about Luiz Alberto Lopez, I had a quick look at his box record before the fight. And yeah, even though he only had 13 wins out of 24 wins, 13 knockouts out of 24 wins, if you sort of dissected and analysed his resume, he'd been match tough, as so many of these Mexican kids are. Early on in his career, he lost a split decision, which was, I think it was about 3.5 years ago. And then he'd lost a unanimous decision to a kid called Ruben Villa. That was in America. But as tough gets, and as fearless as fearless gets. Previously, earlier on in the year, he had knocked. No, he hadn't knocked. No, he knocked him out. No, it was a unanimous decision against Gabriel Flores Jr., who at the time was 20-0, and he had wins over, I think one of the fighters, one of the opponents from last year had a 23-1-1 record. He'd knocked out a kid who was 18-0 in 5 rounds. So I mean, all this, when you add all this together, even though you may not be that familiar with some of the names, you could sort of understand why Lopez was considered a favourite over ISAAC LOWE. ISAAC LOWE, undefeated, 21 wins and no defeats, but he had 3 draws on his record. Good little fighter, but was he world class? This was a jump up. And as I say, it was an IBF featherweight eliminator. Now, the fight starts, and within 15 seconds, Lopez is on his back from a hellacious left hook. I think it was the first punch Lopez had thrown. It would have knocked out many fighters, but Lopez, it's quite funny because ISAAC landed virtually on his back, not his backside, looking up in shock at him, and Lopez just stood there, adopted a sort of Greek statue pose, or should I say an Aztec statue pose, as if to say, yep, that's what I'm all about. You got more of this to come. Okay. But up gets ISAAC LOWE, fights back, clearly loses around 10-8, but doesn't go on the floor again, gets back to his corner, regroups in the second round. Lots of exchanges throughout the first minute and a half of that second round. LOWE, fearless himself, all credit to him, he's a fighting man, didn't shrink. But having floored LOWE with a left hook in the first round, Lopez then said, well, I can use my right hand too. A chopping right hand puts LOWE on the floor again. Both these are heavy knockdowns, by the way. They're not. There's nothing There's no slipping, there's no tripping, there's no... yeah, they're real knockdowns, real genuine knockdowns. But Lowe gets up again in the second round, and he's fighting back. And I think so that's 2 10-8 rounds in the first 2 rounds. So Lowe is 4 points behind already. I gave the third round to Lopez, but it was closer, and Lowe noticeably was coming back, landing his own punches as well. But Lopez seems so relaxed. I mean, he's come all the way from Mexico. He's fighting this was at the York Hall. He's fighting in, I don't know whether you'd call it Lowe's backyard, but he's fighting certainly in Lowe's home country. No nerves whatsoever. Having said that, Lowe did come back into the fight in, I think, 4, 5, 6. Probably, yeah, I would probably give him to Lowe. I didn't score the fight as I was watching, but I sort of did mentally, but I wasn't writing anything down, or, you know. It was an absorbing little tussle, this. So, okay, let's say that 4, 5, and 6 belong to Lowe, which puts them even in rounds, 3 each, but Lowe is 2 points behind because of the 2 knockdowns. And then in the 7th round, again, Lowe is coming on strong. He seems to be absorbing the power much better through 4, 5, and 6, and the first part of 7. He's absorbing the power to the head much better. And as I say, he's landing his own punches. It's all a bit of a shootout. Both fighters hanging their hands quite low at times. Lowe walking forward with his hands up, but once he gets into range, he's leaving himself open to counters. But he's absorbing the head punches better. Okay, says Lopez, no problem. And he lands a hellacious solar plexus punch. So the first knockdown was a left hook. Second one in the second round was a right hand, chopping right hand. In the 7th round, he lands a hooked, was it an uppercut? I can't remember offhand. Either a hook or an uppercut to the body. Lowe freezes in one of the corners, seems in 2 minds as to whether to take a knee, and eventually does go down and struggles to rise. He rises at sort of 9, 9.5, and the ref says, that's your lot, it's all over. Brilliant win for Lopez, who was wildly entertaining and very exciting. He's 28 years old, looks about 8 years younger. Isaac Lowe's got nothing to be ashamed of. He fought like a true warrior. Tyson Fury was in the crowd watching, egging him on. I'm beginning to think Tyson Fury is a bad omen. If he sits ringside, you're probably going to get beaten. Because was it Hosea Burton the other week got smashed to bits? Was it Dan Aziz? I can't remember who he beat, but yeah. Anyway, my mind's wandering. Yeah, a great win for Lopez. He's now going to go on and fight Kiko Martinez, the old as mud Kiko Martinez, who's having this Indian summer of a career in his late 30s or whatever, but mid to late 30s. Lowe can come again if he wants to. He didn't really do anything wrong. He fought with a lot of conviction, a lot of heart. You know, no mean skill as well. It was a bit of a shootout, not really a technical fight, but Lopez just got the better of him, and there's no shame in that. And he got undone with a body punch. Eventually, he learned how to take it. He absorbed the headshots better, and it was the body punch that did him. But all credit to Lopez. Again, I always say this, but if a guy comes all the way from another country, goes into another country and fights the guy who everyone wants to win, and if he takes away the victory, all credit to him. So did you see the fight? It was an MTK show. It was on at the York Hall, probably still on YouTube. What did you think of it? And how do you think Lopez is going to fare against Martinez? That'll be a hell of a row, I'll tell you what. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. Who would I pick for that? I don't know. Anyway, let me know your thoughts below. Thanks for your support as always. Like I say, if you could hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. And I'll speak to you again sometime. You take care of yourselves.